Farewell to Nova Scotia.
Follow the tail gunner.
Because we didn't have that back in the 18th century.
Well,
Sorry about that.
Like me.
1912, the Titanic left Southampton, England. There's the caps.
Explosives. It's got citric acid, gun cotton, benzo, TNT.
What do you need? Boarding tags?
Cards.
Cards. Yeah, he probably will have to. Yeah. Oh, he's still in there. He can't get out. Oh. Okay. Okay.
Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast. Let your bound and dark and drear I be. When I'm
This is Fantasy 11 coming into the campground.
Come on in, 11. Take the third road to the left. Fantasy 1, this is Fantasy 3. We're right behind 11. Coming in. Yep, follow 11.
Hello. Good. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Coming in.
Oh, nice bra.
Love the bra.
Third road to the left.
Vegetable soup.
I smell it.
Folks, you get no salt or pepper. Because we didn't have that back in the 18th century.
Well,
Sorry about that.
You know, they didn't live very long either, did they? Back
no,
then.
they did not.
See, they'd have had a little salt and pepper.
You've been talking about being awake.
It's a 45-minute tour, so you'll have about an hour and a half wandering around on your own. So just kind of stick with us for 45 minutes.
So what actually happened is the French lost a territory on the southern part of Newfoundland called Plaisance. What happened is all those people came and they settled at Louisbourg. So after that treaty in 1713, basically the land that the French were left with was Cape Breton Island, Ile Royale, and PEI, which they called Ile Saint-Jean. So like I said, all of those people came to Louisbourg in 1713, so that's when it was founded. So most of those people were fishermen as well. So that was the primary reason that you have settlers coming to Louisbourg. Does anyone actually know the difference between a fort and a fortress? So the difference is, so a fort is when there's just military. Louisbourg is a fortress. So what that means is that you have a fortified town basically. So you have your town, your economy, but you also have a wall going all around and you have a very strong military presence here essentially. So they built that museum in the 1930s. His daughter, Catherine McLennan, she becomes the curator of that museum. Now she built a full model of the town of Louisbourg that you can see. It's still over there. And there's also a Lego model of Louisbourg, which represents about 65% of the original fortress. So it's very cool. It's only here until October too. So if you want to see that, head up there.
Is that kind of what we had for lunch today?
Yes, it's the same bread. The restaurant gets it.
Okay.
what it says is April 10th, 1912, the Titanic left Southampton, England for New York on her maiden voyage with 2,200 passengers. Can everybody hear me? Yes. 4 days later, she sank, hit an iceberg and sank in 2 hours and 40 minutes. Now, the cruise ship, the Carpathia, was next door, but the White Star Liner wasn't given out the proper messages. It did not want word to get out that this beautiful floating palace was in trouble. They say the Carpathia saved 800, but they could have saved more had they had the right message. So why is Halifax involved? We have 3 grave sites in Halifax. Halifax was involved because it hit an iceberg off the coast of Newfoundland, but Newfoundland didn't have any recovery method. So Halifax, we were laying underground cable across the Atlantic. So we could put those cable ships right out to the disaster site. And of course, when I say right out to the disaster site, it's not like today. It still took them 4 days to get out there. And when they arrived there, they had no idea of the magnitude of the disaster that was waiting for them. So they had to do a burial at sea. We are visiting the largest of the 3 cemeteries. We're visiting the Fairview Lawn Cemetery. It has 121 of the Titanic victims. Up into the cemetery, it's going to be in the shape of the bow of the ship, the Titanic grave sites. There's going to be headstones here, headstones here. I'll point it out once we get closer. Okay, Alma Paulson. Now, Alma's husband Nils had left her a few months before. He had went to Chicago to make a new life for himself, Alma, and the 4 children. When he had saved enough money, he sent it to Alma to meet him. So she thought, what a wonderful experience for the children to come over on board the Titanic. So she bought the cheapest tickets she could. She bought the steerage tickets. She was identified because she had the stubs to the tickets in her pocket. Now, of course, Nils did not have any money to have their bodies shipped home, so she is buried here. But also, there was a small child floating in the water, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. The crew aboard the cable ship, the Minia, said, if that child is not identified, we will pay for the funeral and we will pay for the headstone, which they did. And the headstone is right there by Linda. So I told it to be the truth. It is written in some of the Titanic books as the truth. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed, 2 years old. Alma's youngest son, Costa, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, 2 years old. Isn't it great they're buried so close together? But they did DNA testing on 3 grave sites a few years ago. 2 were at the bottom. The other was the unknown child. They were able to get enough dental. The 2 at the bottom, they couldn't get anything. So he was not Alma Paulson's youngest son. He was Leslie Goodwin, an English boy. You'll see his picture there. When you go to the Maritime Museum today, you'll see his little shoes. So they have just added a footstone. So they didn't touch the unknown child. And that is going to represent all of the children that lost their lives. Pier 21 is the same as your Ellis Island. And of course, you're going to be on your own for dinner today. If you do walk up this far, there's all kinds of little shops in there today because of the cruise ships.
There's the cops.
Crosswalk back there.
Yeah.
You get one of the guys in the crosswalk.
He hit the bus.
He bounced.
Regardless, we are going to have to document it.
Okay.
So, I've already spoken to one maritime bus with the Coach Atlantic bus.
Yeah.
That was inching forward on them. They're here to protest, inching forward, and the last guy said, "Oh, it was my air brakes." I'm familiar with how air brakes work.
Yeah.
They're clearly doing a protest, inching forward on the crosswalk. It's not going to do you any good. May as well throw the bus and park until they wave you along. That's how protests work, right?
Yeah,
So what's going to happen is he's not wanting you charged,
Yeah.
but he wants it documented.
Okay.
So I'm going to need to get a driver's license so I can
Sorry about that. Nice little experience for you.
And then the red is very flashy as well. So pretty hot on a summer day.
Yeah, yesterday I bet you were worse than that.
Yesterday was a nightmare.
Bastions with a wall around it. So Halifax is just a small fishing, trading village almost. It's getting raided occasionally by the local French settlers, the Acadians, and then as well the indigenous Mi'kmaq. So there's sort of a threat to Halifax, needing to have some form of defense.
So welcome to the Maritime Wheel of the Atlantic. My name is Savannah. I'm going to give you guys a highlights tour of the museum. So we're mostly going to focus on 3 galleries. The first one's going to be How Unique We Still Are. It focuses on the Mi'kmaq, who are the First Nations people of Nova Scotia. Next, the Halifax Exposure Gallery, and then lastly, Titanic. On the side is actually spruce root that they use to hold it together. The ends are tilted a bit up, the gunwales, to get through the rough waters of Milwaukee. On this here is a surf boat. So this will be used to get items onto Sable Island. Because it's a sandbar, you cannot make any docks or anything like that. You have to just push this up on the beach. This explosion was a pretty devastating event that occurred in Halifax on December 6th of 1917. You can see the 2 ships involved. This one on the red track is the SS Mont Blanc. It's a French ship with around 2,900 tons of explosives. It's got citric acid, gun cotton, benzo, TNT. Everything horrible you can imagine is laid out on the deck of the ship. The one coming out of the harbor, the blue track, is the SS Emo. Now that is a Norwegian ship full of of supplies for Belgium, which was occupied at the time. The two ships collide in the harbor just before 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sure you all know about Titanic's story. It left in April of 1912 on her maiden voyage from London over to New York. Didn't quite make it, hit an iceberg on April 15th, sunk by the morning of April 15th. So Halifax's connection is the recovery of the bodies of the victims, and we also have the largest collection of wooden artifacts from the Titanic. So as we won, it's the only surviving deck chair that we have from the sinking of the Titanic. So this was recovered by the crew of the SF Minia. The Minia was one of the 3 cable ships that left Halifax to go and recover bodies. This was given to the Reverend on the ship after they were done the work, and when he passed away, his family donated to us. So we do have a pair of shoes that were recovered from the unknown child. Now this was the 4th body recovered by the crew of the Mackie Bennett, and just about broke the hearts of all of them. I don't know if have you guys been to the, and you've noticed his headstone is a bit different from the rest. So the crew of the Mackie Bennett did pay for his headstone to be a bit different.
To all those places on the wall, and none come close to this, I'm sure. You try to say the sunrise the same, but tell me, have you ever danced in the rain? And I could try to just follow the swell, but I've never found this anywhere.